The crystalline barrier pulsed with otherworldly light as Talos Ravencroft watched another probe disintegrate against it. From his command post in Orbital Station Echo, he allowed himself a grim smile. 117 years of containment, and humanity was still testing the walls of their cosmic cage. "Simulation complete, Commander," reported Chief Science Officer Wraith Steelborn, his fingers dancing across holographic displays. "The Archons' quantum barrier is still absorbing all forms of conventional energy. But look at this anomaly in the decay pattern." Talos leaned forward, steel-gray eyes fixed on the rippling distortion where the probe had died. "Show me." The massive viewing window transformed into a cascade of data, numbers flowing like digital rain. Wraith highlighted a sequence that pulsed with an irregular rhythm. "The barrier isn't just containing us, sir. It's learning from every attempt we make to breach it. The Archons designed it to evolve." Talos clenched his jaw. The Archons, self-proclaimed guardians of galactic peace, had imprisoned Earth and its colonies after first contact, declaring humanity too volatile, unpredictable, to join the greater cosmic community. Their barrier technology was centuries beyond anything humans had developed. "Incoming transmission from Phoenix Base," announced Communications Officer Alaric Stormweaver. "Director Cipher is requesting your presence. Priority Alpha." Talos's pulse quickened. Priority Alpha meant only one thing. Project Prometheus had made a breakthrough. "Tell them I'm our way. Wraith, you're with me." The maglev shuttle carved through the space between orbital stations like a silver bullet. Through the windows, Earth hung below them like a marble of blue and white, wrapped in the shimmering membrane of their prison. Talos had been 5 years old when the quarantine fell. He still remembered watching the sky turn to crystal. Phoenix Base grew from a pinpoint to a massive structure, officially a research station studying solar phenomena. Unofficially, it housed humanity's best chance at freedom. Director Maven Cipher met them in the quantum labs. His weathered face bore the weight of decades of failed attempts at breaking the barrier, but today his eyes had something Talos hadn't seen in years: hope. "Gentlemen," Maven said, leading them through security checkpoints, "what we're about to show you never leaves this room. The Archon's monitoring systems are everywhere." The main lab was a cathedral of advanced technology. In the center, contained within a series of magnetic fields, floated what appeared to be a tear in reality itself, a ragged hole in space-time that hurt to look at directly. "Sweet mother of Einstein," Wraith breathed. "You've done it. You've actually done it." "Not exactly," said Chief Researcher Hawk Shadowveil, emerging from behind a bank of computers. "We haven't broken the barrier. We've discovered what it really is. The Archons didn't just build a wall. They built a mirror." Talos frowned. "Explain." Hawk gestured to the floating anomaly. "The barrier doesn't stop our attempts to breach it. It reflects them back at us, using our own energy against us. But here's the beautiful part. It can only reflect what it understands. And there's one thing the Archons have never understood about humans. Our capacity for self-destruction," Maven finished. Realization dawned on Talos. "You want to use the barrier's reflection against itself." "Better." Hawk's eyes gleamed. "We're going to make it reflect nothing. The Archons built this cage, assuming we'd keep trying to break out. But what happens when the prisoner stops pushing against the bars?" Wraith studied the readings. "The barrier needs our resistance to maintain its structure. Without something to reflect, it collapses," Maven said. "But the timing has to be perfect. We'll need every weapons platform, every probe, every piece of technology we have hitting the barrier at precisely the same moment. Then, in the microsecond before it reflects the energy." "Everything goes dark," Talos finished. "Complete technological shutdown across the entire solar system." "The ultimate surrender," Hawk nodded. "Except we'll have hidden batteries," Wraith caught on. "Shielded systems that power up in that fraction of a second when the barrier tries to reset itself." Evan's expression was grim. "If we're off by even a nanosecond, the backlash will fry every electronic system in the solar system. We're talking about a complete collapse of human civilization." "And if we succeed?" Talos asked. "Then humanity reminds the galaxy why they were so afraid of us in the first place." Maven's smile was sharp as a blade. "We'll have precisely 48 hours before the Archons realize their cage has failed. More than enough time to implement Phase 2. Talos felt a chill. "There's a Phase 2. Hawk activated a hologram showing a massive structure hidden in the asteroid belt. "We've been imprisoned for over a century, Commander. Did you think we spent all that time just throwing rocks at the wall?" The hologram revealed a fleet of ships, unlike anything Talos had seen before. Not the sleek, conventional designs of pre-quarantine humanity, but something darker, more predatory. A ships built not for peaceful exploration, but for war. The Archons thought they were protecting the galaxy from us, Maven said softly. All they did was give us time to prepare. Time to advance. Time to remember every slight, every patronizing message, every moment they looked down on us as savages too dangerous to be let out of our cage. They were right about that last part, Hawk added with a grim smile. Talos studied the fleet. How many? Thousands. Hidden in asteroid mines, concealed beneath the ice of Europa, scattered across the system. The Archons' monitoring systems see what we want them to see. They've spent a century watching us throw primitive probes at their barrier. They never wondered what we were doing with all our other resources. The entire quarantine has been a cover, Wraith realized. Every failed attempt, every probe. A performance, Maven confirmed, keeping their eyes focused on the obvious while we built something unprecedented. Human ingenuity turned toward a single purpose for over a century. We've developed technologies they can't even imagine, because they're based on principles their society would never consider. Because they're too dangerous, Talos guessed. Because they're too human, Hawk corrected. The Archons think in terms of control, of isolation, of walls and barriers. We think in terms of freedom, of vengeance, of justice. Maven's eyes met Talos's. The question is, Commander, are you prepared to make history? Because once we start this, there's no going back. We'll either free humanity or destroy everything we've built. Talos thought of the children born under the barrier, never knowing a sky without crystal. He thought of the generations who had died waiting for freedom. He thought of the Archons, so certain in their moral superiority that they had never considered the consequences of caging a species defined by its refusal to accept imprisonment. How long to prepare the shutdown? 72 hours to coordinate all systems, Wraith calculated. We'll need to mask the preparations from the monitoring drones, stage the hidden batteries. Make it 48, Talos ordered. We've waited long enough. As they began the preparations, Talos returned to the viewport. The barrier shimmered innocently, a pristine cage built by beings who they understood humanity. They had believed humans were too dangerous to be allowed among the stars. They were about to learn just how right they had been. Begin the countdown, he commanded. It's time to show the galaxy why they were afraid of us. The barrier pulsed one last time, unaware that its perfect prison was about to become humanity's perfect revenge. In 72 hours, the quarantine would end not with a bang, but with a silence so profound it would echo across the galaxy. And in that silence, humanity would rise, not as the prisoners the Archons had tried to contain, but as the force they had always feared we would become. They had given us a century to prepare. They were about to learn the price of their mistake.